November 10th, 2024, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mary, can we have a roll call, please?
Certainly. Christie?
Present.
Deacon?
Here.
Gaba?
Here.
Mr. Gardner is excused. Mr. Parmelo?
Here.
Thomas?
Here.
Watson?
Here.
6 present.
Thank you. Minutes from the last meeting.
Make a motion to approve? I second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Is there any petitions and communications this evening?
I have none.
Great. Cool. Report of the town manager.
I also have none. Staff is, half of them were on vacation last month or when we regularly meet. One update I do have is a reminder that town halls will be closed on election day.
Thank you. Public hearings.
Yes, there's one public hearing this evening. That is order number 83-24, amendments to Standish Town Code, Chapter 181, Land Use, Part 1, Zoning, Article 2, Definitions, and Article 4, General Standards regarding elderly and village housing. The Town of Standish hereby ordains that Chapter 181, Land Use of the Code of the Town of Standish is B and is hereby amended as follows. Additions are underlined, deletions are struck out. The first amendment is to...
I'll make a motion to waive the reading.
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Is there any discussion on this? Any public comments? Okay. Seeing none, can we have a roll call, please?
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gaba?
Yes.
Parmelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
And Watson?
Yes.
And the hearing is closed.
It is.
Final sign right there.
Sure can.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Committee reports. We'll start down here.
I have nothing. We didn't meet this month, the capital, and so we can move it down the road.
Okay. Mr. Christie?
No, I haven't gone to one yet. I'm going down to Water District. I'm on that as chair, and also for the, what do we got coming up? Out here, that's in
Oh,
October.
the public
It's
safety
in October.
fair. Yeah, you were at a meeting on the other night on
Didn't
that.
go to that one.
Mr. Gardner is absent, but we had an appointments committee this evening to talk about some election clerks and people going to the MMA conference. So we'll be hearing about that tonight. And we have not met for ordinance yet this month.
The Finance Committee met yesterday. Everything's going along fine. The first 2 months of the fiscal year are actually coming in a little bit under. So that's good news. Economic Development hasn't met yet this month.
I have alerted the town manager to some needs for the cemetery committee, and I believe she's working on that, and at some future time we'll have a meeting, no other meetings to report.
Thank you. Consent calendar?
Yep, there are 2 items this evening. Consent calendar items are typically read by title only, unless somebody would like to discuss one of them. The first item is 99-24, establish voter registration hours prior to the November 5th, 2024 general and referendum election and special town meeting referendum vote. Announce hours for in-person absentee voting and early processing of absentee ballots. The second consent item is 100-24, appoint election warden, deputy election wardens, election clerks, town clerk, and a deputy clerk to serve at the November 5th, 2024 general and referendum election and special town meeting referendum vote. You need to vote on them, and I can expand on anything you want.
Is there any, yes, Mr. Deacon?
I just urge anyone who will be 18 by election day to register to vote. Even though you're not 18 currently, if you're 18 by election day, you are able to register to vote. You can also register at the polling place on the day of election. So I urge anyone who's young, who's never voted, to consider that. And also remind everyone that in the state of Maine, we are one of the few states that allow felons to vote. They've never restricted the right of felons to vote and urge all felons to register to vote as well, to exercise their rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the council? Any public comments?
And you vote on these collectively? Would you like
Yes,
a roll
I was
call?
just gonna- Yes, please. Roll call, please.
Christie?
Yes,
Deacon?
Yes.
Gaba?
Yes.
Parmelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Let's go to unfinished business.
Yes, the first item on unfinished business is order number 90-24, amendments to Standish Town Code, Chapter 263, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 1, Parking and Weight Restrictions, Section 263-1, Prohibited Parking. The Town of Standish hereby ordains that Chapter 263, Vehicles and Traffic of the Code of the Town of Standish be and is hereby amended as follows. Additions are underlined and deletions are struck out. What is happening in this is Section 263-1, prohibited parking. It says it shall be unlawful to park any vehicle within the public way at the following location, and that is either side of New Begin Way for its entire length.
Yes, and I'll just see if you want to fill us in with anything on this, Mr. Cross?
It's just for the beach type of deal, that there's a chance the gate will be moving, and we're trying to get ahead of it before the gate does move.
Very good. Any public comments? Any council comments? Yes, Mr. Deacon?
Has there been, I know the residents, there's limited space. And with the usage for the beach, is there concern about people not being able to find parking? And if so, what could be done? Is that a
So
concern?
what's happening is people are parking on the outside of the gates, and then walking past the gates to go to Boaters Beach and get on a boat, and they don't want to park on the inside, and then because they're getting locked on the inside when the gates close. So we're trying to stop that from occurring. So they'll get on a boat for the day, but they're not back before our staff leaves and locks the gates. Then they get locked inside of the gates, and so that's why they've been parking up along the road.
So where would people park who want to be out on a boat past the locking time?
They'd have to park down here where the public parking is at the Standish Boat Launch area.
Okay, and there are signs that tell people when the gate will be locked, correct?
That's done by the rec. I'm not sure on that one type of deal, if
It
there's
is.
anything posted.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Yes, and just a reminder, this vote moves it to public hearing at the October 8th meeting. Christie?
yes.
Deacon?
Yes?
Gardner? Oh, I apologize. Gaba?
Yes.
Pomelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
And Watson?
Yes.
6 yes. And the next one is order number 91-24, amendments to Standish Town Code, Chapter 181, Land Use, Part 1 Zoning, Article 3, District Regulations, editor notes in multiple sections. The Town of Standish hereby ordains that Chapter 181, Land Use of the Code of the Town of Standish be and is hereby amended as follows. Additions are underlined, deletions are struck out. Chapter 181, Land Use, Part 1 Zoning, Article 3, District Regulations, Section
Like to waive the reading?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous? Any public comments on this? Any council comments?
Yeah, could you just explain a little bit what it is to the public?
Absolutely.
Just a couple
So
minutes.
this is basically taking out a lot of the items that were redundant or unnecessary or conflicting with each other in the different zones and form-based code, et cetera. So it's just cleaning up a lot of the language and making it flow better and make more sense. So, anything else to add, Mr. Mosier?
Nope, a lot of it doesn't change anything on how we use the ordinance, so a lot of it's just housekeeping, and then also making sure, I think removal of, one of the notes does now allow a home occupation in a cluster subdivision as well, so we're changing, that is now permissible with these changes.
Ms. Thomas?
At the planning board meeting last night, was there any public comment? I tried to watch the meeting this morning and I couldn't.
Not on this,
Okay, thank you.
or at least not the part that I was there for. Any other council comments? Roll call, please.
Yeah, and just a reminder, this does bring it to public hearing at the October 8th meeting. Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes?
Gaba?
Yes?
Pomelo?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Thomas?
Thomas, yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Okay, new business.
Order number 101-24 requests that the state of Maine rename Sebago Lake Crossing Bridge, which crosses Chadbourne Road, which is Route 35, in the vicinity of Johnson Field, to the Town of Standish Veterans Memorial Bridge. Whereas at a recent town council workshop, Carlista Cross provided a presentation to the Standish Town Council regarding a program that has been recently created to rename bridges in municipalities to honor all veterans in their municipality. And whereas the town council supports this initiative and wishes to honor all town of Standish veterans by renaming the bridge located at Chadbourne Road on Route 35, currently named by MDOT as the Sebago Lake Crossing Bridge, which is located in the vicinity of Johnson Field, through the town of Standish Veterans Memorial Bridge. And now be it ordered that the Standish Town Council requests that the state of Maine endorses this request and approves the renaming of the Sebago Lake Crossing Bridge to the town of Standish Veterans Memorial Bridge.
Thank you. And Carlista, you're here. Would you like to say anything else? Since we're all gathered as a voting body tonight? Yes, please.
Well, I hope this passes because you guys will be the 11th town and the 13th bridge that's being named. And so it's just a wonderful thing for our veterans. And being a member of Honor Flight Maine, that I have talked to some of these veterans already about the bridges that had already been named. And they can't believe that the people really are doing an issue like this for them. And so hopefully that we'll get the same results here with Standish. And may I also add that tomorrow, WCSH TV will be coming to Limerick. They're the first town that approved a bridge, and they're going to do a story on all the bridges that has been named. So your name may be in it, you know, if it gets approved tonight, you may be in it. But if not, it's going to be further discussion on this in 2025. So thank you for having me, and go Standish.
Thank you, and thank you for all your effort in doing this. Is there any other public comments?
Thank you very much. I'm James Libby. I'm State Senator. And I just wanted to let you know that if this is to pass, it will become a legislative document, and we will have co-sponsorship of it and do our best to take it to the Transportation Committee and have it pass at that level.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Libby. Any further public comments? Okay, council comments? Yes, Mr. Deacon?
Thank you. Again, I thank you for bringing this to our attention. Our veterans deserve a lot of our concerns and thoughts. Naming a bridge is important to keep their memories alive and are in the forefront of our thoughts of all the things that they do to protect our country. But there are lots of other needs that veterans have, and I would suggest that the town manager consider using her bully pulpit at some point when the process is complete for the naming of the bridge, that we may have some type of a naming or christening ceremony where we could invite veterans groups and veterans in Standish perhaps to meet at the Johnson Field nearby there as a safe place nearby where we could formally celebrate this activity. And also to consider that there may be opportunities for veterans groups and others to share information about veterans services and needs, and maybe there could be some type of outreach that could be available to interested veterans or members of the public. I think the naming of the bridge brings it to our attention, but I hope that just having the bridge appropriately named isn't all that we do, and that we remember that we owe so much to so few. I remember what Winston Churchill said, that never has so much been done by so few for so many, for so long, and we depend on our veterans for a lot. And I just like this not to be the final act, that we have other activities, and perhaps the town manager could help coordinate this at a suitable time. Thank you.
I couldn't have said that better, Mr. Deacon, and I think I've already talked to Tasha about doing something similar to that, so.
Yeah. We've been doing it for, how many years, Mary? We have staff actually in the lobby. There's totes. We collect socks, mouthwash, toothbrush, et cetera, and we have books. So that's been going on for as long as I've been here. So if anyone wants to donate something, that's an ongoing thing that we do, headed by our clerk, Mary.
Any other council comments on this? I think we have a roll call, please.
Thank you. Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes?
Gaba?
Yes.
Pomelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please.
And thank you for bringing up about doing something more than just naming the bridge, because I've spoken with other towns who approved the bridge, and they definitely are going to do a celebration. And so they said that felt it was really important to do this, and like you are saying, it's just not to name the bridge. And so the senator and I have been working on, when DOT comes out and puts the bridge names up, that we thought that might be a good time to celebrate if any of the towns wanted to do it like that, and try to let everybody know ahead of time so that if they wanted to add whatever they wanted to add to it. So hopefully before the snow comes, some of this stuff's going to happen, so, but if not, it will happen next year. So thank you for bringing that up. I kind of forgot about that, so
Thank
thank
you.
you.
The next one.
Order number 102-24, resolution to establish October 19th, 2024 as Standish Health and Safety Day. Whereas the Public Safety Committee was established by order of the council in January of 2000 to review public safety issues in Standish, and the Safe Community Coalition was subsequently established to further these goals. And whereas the Public Safety Committee has made great strides in discovering safety concerns of all citizens of Standish, and whereas the Fire EMS Department shares these goals and strive to educate the residents of Standish regarding safety issues, and whereas the Public Safety Committee and the Fire EMS Department have determined that joining their efforts to promote safety topics will enhance the program and heighten awareness of these issues by educating the citizens, which will help reduce injuries and allow for the citizens to make informed decisions regarding these issues. And whereas the Public Safety Committee and the Fire EMS Department have selected Saturday, October 19th, 2024, as a day to educate the public about home safety, injuries, and other safety issues in a day-long program of educational activities at the Standish Municipal Center. And whereas the Standish Town Council supports and endorse the public education initiatives of the Public Safety Committee and Fire and EMS, now be it resolved that the Town of Standish establishes Saturday, October 19th, 2024 as Standish Health and Safety Day.
Mr. Christie, would you like to say anything on the,
Hope everybody shows up like it did the last 10 years.
I couldn't have said it better. I agree. Public comments on this? Any other council comments? Roll call, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes?
Gaba?
Yes.
Pomelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes. And could you sign there? Order number 103-24, authorize the Town of Standish accepts the conditional amended agreement effective September 1st, 2024, and clarify the change to its mains purse plan. Orders to see if the Town of Standish will vote to accept the conditional amended amended agreement effective September 1st, 2024, and clarify the change made in its plan for the firefighters, emergency medical service employees, and any future police officers for effective September 1st, 2024. And now be it ordered that the Town of Standish accepts the conditional amended agreement effective September 1st, 2024 as executed, a copy included, and clarifies that the plan change made effective September 1st, 2024 is as follows. A, the town agrees to provide special plans 3C to its firefighters, emergency medical service employees, and any future police officers who regularly work 35 or more hours per week and are not seasonal or temporary as defined by the appendix to the main purse rule, Chapter 802, for service rendered after August 31st, 2024. Service rendered by firefighters and emergency medical services employees during the period from September 1st, 2023 through August 31st, 2024 remain under the 2C, and any service rendered by firefighters and emergency medical services employees before September 1st, 2023 remain under Special Plan 2N. And the town of Standish will continue to provide Special Plan 2C for its government employees who regularly work 35 or more hours per week and who are not seasonal or temporary as defined by appendix to the main purse rule, Chapter 802. And C, the town will continue to execute all part-time employees working less than 35 hours per week, seasonal and temporary employees, and elected appointed officials from participating in the plan.
Thank you. Mr. Gardner is excused tonight, so Scott, you have
Sure.
more info?
Yes, there was some ambiguity in the language that was provided by Maine PERS in last month's order. So this is just to correct that, to be more specific.
Thank you. Any public comments on this? Any council questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Christie?
Definitely yes.
Yes.
Yes. Deacon?
Yes.
Gaba?
Yes.
Parmelo?
Yes.
Thompson?
Thomas, yes.
Thomas, I'm so sorry. And Watson?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, order number 104-24, approved utility location permit, Central Maine Power Company, Boundary Road. Order that the application submitted by Central Maine Power Company to install and maintain a pole on Boundary Road in accordance with the attached application. It's CMP work order number 8010000637980 is approved by the town council, and further ordered that the council will collect a $25 excavation permit from the applicant.
Thank you. I got your letter. Everything's complete. Is there anything else to add? Any public comments? Council comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gaba?
Yes.
Parmelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes. Order number 105-24, acceptance of street name, Libby Hill Drive. Order that the following street name is submitted by the property owner is accepted by the town council as required by the provisions of Chapter 252-23 of the Standish Town Code. It's Libby Hill Drive. It's a private road that will be located on tax map 9, lot 44, which is in the vicinity of 125 Dollar Road.
Mr. Cross, any comments on this?
Private road, private maintenance, there's just naming that road that will have access.
Any public comments? Any council comments?
Yes, I used to live on Dolph Road.
There you go.
That's all me. I'm in favor of this.
Okay. Roll call.
I like their third, their Groundhog Way instead of Libby Hill, so can we change it?
You can make the motion.
No, I'm good.
Okay, roll call, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gaba?
Yes.
Parmelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Groundhog Road.
That's what it's.
Order number 106-24, waive no parking restriction on the Soccer Road for the annual craft fair held by the trustees of the Old Red Church. Order that the no parking restriction on the north and south sides of Soccer Road between the Standish Town Line and Cape Road, which is Route 35A, shall be waived for a period 2 hours before the opening of the craft fair held by the trustees of the Old Red Church, and until 2 hours after the close of the fair, to be held on November 29th and 30th, 2024, at the Bonnie Eagle Middle School. Further ordered that the coordinators of the event shall provide traffic control beginning 1 hour prior to the opening of the fair and during the hours of the fair.
Mr. Deacon, would you like to add anything?
No.
Any council comments?
Yes. there are a lot of different areas here, and I don't know what we could do to identify those rather than going through this all the time, because safety is very important to me. And I think the way things are happening in Standish right now, we've got to look at these areas so we don't have to breathe. And I don't know if we can form a committee, Mr. Chairman, to look at this and see if it's something that we should be looking at or not. Thank you.
I can talk to town staff about that and figure it out with Mr. Parmelo.
Yeah, I'd like to piggyback on Terry a little bit. Saco Road obviously is a tough road with, it's narrow and it's one of the fourth or fifth busiest roads in Standish. And to let cars park both sides of the road, like for the Bonnie or car show, it's, to get in and out of there, and people are walking. I understand a little bit what he's saying. I don't know how we can change that, but, you know, the people walk on the side of the road between the cars and the road, well, then you got one lane of cars going through there that people are passing through. And I'm telling you, it is a tough deal. And sooner or later, we're gonna probably pay the fiddler for letting this happen. But I understand they probably need the parking space, but on the flip side, you're shutting down a major route through Standish for 8 or 10 hours and forcing people to walk down the middle of the road or side of the road with cars parked on both sides. So just, and people are walking on both sides of the road, so you gotta imagine how confusing it gets, you know? So yeah, I agree, maybe we should try to figure out something a little different. This happens 3 or 4 times a year.
Definitely think something we can talk with John, Mr. Cross, and
Yeah, I just sent it to the order to the sheriff's office to chat
Okay.
about too.
Okay, good.
yes.
I would just like to say, as far as the order goes, this is the Old Red Church's biggest fundraiser every year. And so just to encourage folks to attend, it does bring in the majority of their income to, you know, keep that treasure for Standish. So just to mention that.
Go buy some handmade stuff.
Correct.
I mean, I like handmade stuff.
So for years, it's been at the high school, and this year they've moved it to the middle school, just to let people know.
Is there any other council comments? And is there any public comments? Roll call, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gaba?
Yes?
Pomelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes. Order number 107-24. Appoint Town of Standish voting delegate and alternate for the Maine Municipal Association Annual Business Meeting. Ordered that Tasha Pinkham is appointed to serve as the official voting delegate, and that Scott Giswaldi is appointed to serve as the alternate voting delegate for the Town of Standish at the Maine Municipal Association Annual Business Meeting, which is scheduled to be held on Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, at the Augusta Civic Center.
Again, Mr. Gardner is excused. This is what the appointments committee met about this afternoon, and we had no issues with.
It was a very hard choice. We
It was
had
super
to
hard.
review this for numerous minutes.
Is there any public comments? Any council comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gaba?
Yes?
Parmelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes. Order number 108-24, amendments to Standish Town Code, Chapter 181, Land Use, Section 181.7.1, Form-Based Code, Village Districts regarding building-mounted signs above the first floor. The Town of Standish hereby ordains that Chapter 181, Land Use, Section 181.7.1, Form-Based Code, Village Districts of the Standish Town Code be and is hereby amended as follows. Additions are underlined, deletions are struck out. Chapter,
Make a motion, we waive the reading.
Second that.
All in favor? Unanimous. This is just so we can allow signs above on the second floor of the building.
In the Standish
In
corridor.
the Standish, right.
Yep.
And And you want to fill us, is that it, or is there?
That's all there is to this order. Wall signs above the second story buildings in the Standish Corner District, they cannot be electronically lit like other signs in the area, and they don't affect the overall square footage a business is allowed.
And same size, square footage of the sign?
Yep.
Okay. Want to be more business-friendly and sign-friendly. Any public comments? Any council comments?
I just need to announce that I need to abstain because I will benefit from this.
What was that? I didn't hear that.
She's going to abstain from the vote because she's directly affected by this.
She's affected?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I might have to abstain too, because I do have a business in that district with a two-story building, so I think I'll abstain also from this.
Two abstaining. Any other council comments? And we have a roll call, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes?
Gaba?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner is excused. Mr. Pomelo will
Abstain.
abstain. Yep. And, Ms. Thomas will abstain. And Watson.
Yes.
4 yes, 2 abstain. And that moves it to first reading next month. Order number 109-24, amendments to Standish Town Code regarding the division of dispatch in the following chapters. Chapter 3, Administration of Government. Article 10, Public Safety Department. Section 3-36, Department Head Enumeration of Divisions. And Section 3-44, Establishment Division of Dispatch. Chapter 142, Fire Prevention. Article 1, Sprinkler Systems. Section 142-4, Installation. And Chapter 181, Land Use. Article 4, General Standards. Section 181, 16.1, Blasting. And Chapter 252, Streets and Sidewalks. Article 3, Construction and Acceptance, and it is Section 252-23D, Naming and Numbering of Streets and Roads.
I'll waive the reading, I think you requested.
I'll second that. All in favor? Unanimous? Thank you. Zach?
As far as I understand, and Mary can probably answer if she have any further questions, but this is just getting rid of all references to the dispatch department since it's moved on to the county.
No more dispatch here.
Dispatch here.
Okay. Very good. Any public comments? Any council comments?
Yes.
Yes.
A question. After a pit has been released, I don't know this, and that's why I'm asking, they had criteria to bring it back to a slope or whatever. Is that in what we're talking about too?
No, this is, I believe so each one of these sections you see listed here is where dispatch has been mentioned. And I believe dispatch was mentioned in the blasting section because before blasting in a gravel pit, you had to notify dispatch 24 hours ahead of time.
Mhm.
And so that's just getting rid of that reference. It has nothing to do with reclamation of a gravel pit after its use.
That's a good word, reclamation. Thank you.
Just to be clear, this is fire EMS dispatching that has left us, 5 or 6, 7 years ago. Has nothing to do with public works or anything else. This is just strictly straight up our dispatch that we used to have here. But it was cost efficient to go into the county system, and it was extremely hard to find dispatchers to fill shifts a lot here in Standish. So it was a good move, and I'm glad we're striking this up.
Any other council comments? Roll call, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes?
Gaba?
Yes.
Pomelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes. Order number 110-24, amendments to Standish Town Code regarding private roads in the following chapters. Chapter 181, Land Use, Article 2, in definitions, which is Section 181.3, terms defined, and Section 181.4, lots, and Chapter 252, Streets and Sidewalks, Article 5, Design and New Construction, Section 252.31, Street Classification and Design Standards. Excuse me, the town of Standish hereby ordains that Chapter 181, Land Use of, and Article 2, Definitions, Section 181.3, Terms Defined, and Section 181.14, Lots, and Chapter 252, Streets and Sidewalks, Article 5, Design Standards and New Construction, Section 252.31, Street Classification and Design Standards of the Standish Town Code be and are hereby amended as follows.
Make
Additions.
a motion to waive the reading?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous. Mr. Cross or Mr. Mosher, do you have anything to add to this?
It's a combined effort.
It sounded like it.
I can go down through my list here. So these amendments, they move the existing private road standards from 18114 lots to 25231 street classification. Just a administrative thing there because it was confusing both for staff and the public about where those were. This allows private roads serving up to 5 dwelling units to be built to a 16-foot wide gravel surface standard. It adds language for what standard or private road needs to be constructed to serve non-residential uses. We don't have that now. Includes private roads with public easements in the definition of a private road. And it also adds language to allow new dwelling units to be built on private roads, which existed prior to '96, because that had been an issue for the Board of Appeals, and there had been some residences that had gone to the Board of Appeals to get a variance from that, and the Board of Appeals didn't want to keep granting those variances, and so we decided to add that in there. Those roads, though, still have to be improved to current standards, and Public Works has to inspect the road and find it is adequate for emergency vehicles. And the last one being standards and an inspection schedule for the ongoing maintenance required to be done by the road associations that control private winter maintenance roads. I believe that's it.
Mr. Cross?
Yeah, my biggest sections are the winter maintenance. Just trying to establish, as we've talked before with the other previous council board, but the current standard says passable for equipment, so we're trying to get a better standard in, especially now where the town is doing it, and not the contractors doing it, to put more standards in there and giving them time to come up with that standard that needs to be.
Any public comments on this? Come on up.
Maybe I just heard him wrong, but,
You need to state your name.
oh, I'm sorry,
Yes,
I'm new at
please.
this. Kinda new. New to this meeting. Abby Smith from 56 Bliss Road. Zach, when you were talking about the grandfathered roads, did you just say that those needed to be improved as well, or did I mishear that?
They need to be improved for adequate passage of emergency vehicles.
They have to be inspected by myself and Chief Karen to say that fire trucks can get down there, and public works vehicles can get down there, that it's adequate currently at that standard to be able to expand and put more residences down there.
Okay,
So
so
they'll be
it's,
improved to subdivision, they don't have to be improved to like subdivision standard or anything.
okay,
'Cause
so
that's what
it's
we're trying-
just, it would be a case-by-case basis. You go down, check it out. If you feel like it's safe and we're good, then the building permit's issued?
I don't know about just building permit issue type of deal, but it's just one of those things that the code enforcement has to have a letter from Chief Karen and myself saying that the road is adequate at the current standards built at, to be able to add another residence or of that nature.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other public comment first? Okay, council comments?
I live on a private road that may be affected, so I may want to abstain, but am I able to make a public comment, even though I'm not able to perhaps participate because I live on a private road?
I think if you want to speak at a public, you can go up to the podium.
If he's abstaining, he shouldn't.
Hold on, Mr.
Deacon,
Deacon.
White Point Road, Standish. I wanted to ask what a hammerhead turn is.
Hammer turn, I believe, is like a T, so the vehicle can back into it and then come out. Is that correct, John?
Correct, so basically picture an L, is my opinion, but be able to drive past and turn around back into an area that's designed as a turnaround. I don't want to call it a driveway, but, it's able to turn around emergency vehicles, public works vehicles.
Okay. And are there any road associations or any roads who do not have road associations or parts of roads in Standish that do not have road associations? Do you know?
So winter maintenance agreement we have, association had to be created in 1990. I don't know how active they are since then, but for the town to give them a public easement back then, when the roads were accepted as that standard, they had to have an association. 70% of the members had to vote to go forward with that.
So not quite my question. So some towns may not be plowed or maintained currently, but they may be private roads and still have situations where there are public problems like access to emergency vehicles. And if they are not being, if there is no road association to make sure they're maintained, when there are those emergency situations, it would seem to be a concern that ought to be addressed to identify which roads exist without road associations to maintain, ensure that they're appropriately maintained for you to work with.
When they put in private roads, they have to be built still to a standard, like we have 16-foot width roadways, and having that a turnaround type situation, so they still have to be inspected when they're built. The maintenance and upkeep, there is no inspection standard to that.
So in terms of historic roads that predate some of the current standards, there's nothing that exists to identify those roads that might be public safety hazards because they are too narrow and do not have turnarounds or things of that nature.
Correct.
Thank you.
Did you say 16 wide or 12, isn't it 12 wide?
So the standard, if you look at it, is gonna be 16 wide. For 2 to 5 houses, it's 12 wide for one house.
Okay, 12 wide for one beyond that. Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Is there any other public comments before we open up to the council? Seeing none. Council comments or questions?
I served on the Board of Assessment Review, as she knows, at that time, and we came through on that, and there was that Board of Assessment at that time approved what she wants.
Good to know, thank you. Any other, yes, Ms.
So
Thomas?
my understanding is this is making it a little easier for roads that have been in existence for a while that might only have 3 residents on them and they want to expand.
Right.
Right, so like on Bliss Road, you'll have an improved section of the road, and then you won't have, it'll go to dirt, and then there's lots that, you know, that when you go to pull a building permit and try to build on that lot, you have, that landowner is responsible for bringing that whole section of road up to standard.
To their property.
So make it easier for those people to
So
develop.
they're basically
Okay.
foregoing that cost now.
Thank you.
This was a recommendation from the town attorney as well to go this route, if I'm correct, Zach, right?
Yep, correct, in the Board of Appeals, yep.
Mr. Parmelo?
I'm assuming that like 5 houses now would trigger a new subdivision.
Yes.
So basically, they could run a town road until they triggered more than 5 houses on this, if they were building on that, but, okay. That's what I was just questioning.
No other comments? Roll call, please.
And this moves it to first reading. Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Abstain.
Thank you. Gaba?
Yes.
Parmelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
5 yes, 1 abstain. Order number 111-24, Town of Standish Town Council orders authorizing tax anticipation borrowing.
I'd like to make a motion to waive the reading.
A second.
All in favor?
I would like to have someone explain this in layman term, because even as a counselor, I really struggle with trying to sort through this. So I think we need to explain what this is in a short term without going through all this.
We can at least start with the order comes forward as so it's the tax anticipation borrowing that we're anticipating, that we're borrowing so that we can pay forward all our expenses while our taxes are coming in. Is that?
Tax money coming in.
That's accurate.
I mean, you could give a more detailed.
Yeah,
He wanted layman's terms, so I was starting with me.
that's accurate.
I already knew that, but I just wanted to see how good you guys were.
More or less a housekeeping item. Any other public comments? Any other council comments? Roll call, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gaba?
Yes.
Parmelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes. Order number 112-24, Town of Standish orders of Town Council authorizing issue of $3,800,599 principal amount of bonds and notes in anticipation of such bonds.
Waive reading?
I'll second. All in favor? Unanimous? And Ms. Gabel, would you like to expand on this?
I understand that this is just an issuance of the bonds for the plows, and I think maybe if we want to, Mr. Cross to give us a, is that the one? Yeah.
Yes, the plows and also the fire engine.
Okay.
Other items that are in the bond where we are anticipating the issuance in November, but have to pay bills now.
All the new plow vehicles have arrived.
Oh. No, I wasn't aware. That's exciting.
Any public comments? Any other comments or questions from the council?
How many new ones did you put?
4 new
Four.
trucks
We had 4
Five.
and 1 replacement.
and 1 replacement one. So a total of 5 new trucks.
Or took over for the contractors, the extra 50 miles of roads that we're taking over. And then the one was a replacement truck for a truck that's dated.
Good answer.
We saved money by doing it in-house, and we couldn't get anyone to bid on our contracts.
I got to them before you.
Great. Any other council comments? Roll call, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gaba?
Yes?
Pomelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
There's no executive session this evening.
Mr. Farley, if you have something, announcements time.
This is time for announcement. Yeah, come on up.
I thought you were taking up tonight the development that the Seven Brothers was doing.
Five brothers.
I thought when I read the paper, I knew the planning board boys last night, and I thought I read that the town council was on the next night.
They don't come to the town council.
So with that, I'll ask you, when will you be taking that up?
I think it's still a long ways down the road. I don't know exactly where it stands in the planning. It wasn't approved by the planning board or anything, so I think it's still,
Well, I think they pretty much seem to be in favor of it.
we'll wait and see.
That's my opinion.
I don't think it comes to us, does it?
I think it comes to the
I don't think it
council.
comes to the council if the planning board approves
Well,
it.
you have to make the final decision.
No.
No,
Planning board makes the final decision.
it's all planning board,
It's all the planning board.
yes.
Oh,
Unless there's a need for a special exemption or something else to that,
Okay.
but it's all planning board.
okay, so I need to go back every time it's on their agenda to,
Correct.
okay? And the other thing, I did ask them last night that they didn't seem, there wasn't anyone doing a cost analysis of where the town would stand, how much it would be to the taxpayers and that sort of thing. But I noticed tonight you have a financial director. So would he be involved in any way and giving them that information? Because they said they don't have any of that information coming into them.
Or something I can talk to, I don't think we do any sort of that metrics.
Pardon me?
I've never been involved with that.
Okay.
I don't think this council would be comfortable discussing that while it's in a planning board stage anyways, because that's what they should be doing there.
Okay, so the questions, I thought, because you people would have the final say.
We don't on
that-
this one.
Right. So that rules this, you people are off the hook.
We're off the hook on that one.
I think what made me think that is one of the people last night, they were going back and forth, having a hard time making a decision, and one of them said, well, we'll just kick the can down the road and let you deal with it. So that's what led me to believe that.
They'll have to kick it a long ways by this group, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I think that was a misstatement by them, and
okay,
so I can address the planning board on that.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll say it's a common misconception that things
Yes.
come in front of the council for final approval from the planning board,
Evening.
but it's not the process.
My name's Anthony Folsom, resident of Standish. A couple of things. I texted John the other day, and he told me I was killing him. We talked earlier just a little bit about the fire trucks. I would really like to see them undercoated before snow flies. I don't know what kind of budget it's fit into, or we need to buy the equipment, so I think the $1 million or so we have in trucks, it would be a very good investment that we had our own equipment or whatever to make sure they're done. It could last our trucks 5, 6 years longer than what we can. Most of the problem that we have is rusting. So I would like to see something be done about that financially, whatever. About the about the Bonnie Eagle Car Show, traffic down there. I think we should think about when they do something with the schools or whatever, the sidewalk between the junior high and the high school works very good. Maybe we could do it a little further down along the high school and maybe in front of the junior high, so that would relieve traffic too, people from walking out in the street. You go to any event, they're very busy, those sidewalks. And also my last thing is the shooting ordinance, which is a sound ordinance in the town of Standish. I've been going down to the middle road quite a bit lately, moving people along, haven't had any real big issues with it. A week ago, I did have kind of an issue. People were shooting in Gronding Pit. That was well over an hour. I didn't leave my house until an hour of shooting. Went down there, confronted the people. They told me I was trespassing, and they had the right to shoot on their land. And it was just an employee that's down there. You guys have signs on the pit on the Boundary Road. In saying that, this weekend I went down, there was 4 kids down there shooting, and told them about the ordinance that's in effect about the sound, 15 minutes, it's like dogs or any other kind of animal that would bother anybody. And they wanted to know where the signs were. That was their first question out of their mouth. Where are the signs? So I think somehow or another, that should be posted to a point at the beginning or end of the roads, and it would relieve. And I also know, by me doing what I'm doing, going down to these things, now they're shooting somewhere down there at Bonnie Eagle. People are complaining on the community page, and up by the Standish-Sebago line, there's a pit up there. And now they're shooting off that stuff that explodes, and people are complaining that it's shaking their house. So if we do have this in effect, which I know it's not a gun ordinance, but it's a sound shooting, and I don't leave my house until it's at least 30 minutes into it. And then I go down and talk to people, and like I say, I've probably confronted 30 or 40 groups, never had an issue until the last, they weren't issues, but the guy in the pit was pretty an egg, so. But the other kids just want to know where the signs were to know that they can't be down there. So I just want to make you guys aware of it. I think it's a real issue, and since we do have the ordinance in effect, I think it should be taken care of. Thank you.
I would just like to say, it says a town councilor, in no way would I want you to go out down there by yourself.
Well-
I think you should be getting a hold of county, because like you said,
Yeah, but
it's a confrontation, they've got guns, you're upset, you've been sitting here in it for an hour. I don't want anybody in this room to think
Yeah,
that
but
I would want you doing that at all. I think it's very dangerous.
Okay, so
And I
this
just want you to be very careful,
Oh,
because
okay, well,
you don't have my support for going down there by yourself.
No, and Tasha
confronting
said the same thing when this ordinance.
I just want to be very
was in effect,
careful with
Right?
that, you know?
And I know it can happen, you know, and I know that when I go, but if you call the cops, the police, they say it's none of their business, because it's an ordinance. Many of people in my neighborhood have called, and it said it's not their problem. It's the code enforcement agent. We don't have one around on the weekends, so there's an issue between the Cumberland County doesn't want to take care of it, and we don't want to take care of it on our end.
But you're going on someone's property and.
That, yeah, okay,
Then
but
is it-
most of the time,
That's
but
what
these
I'm
people
just
are
saying,
shooting,
Be very careful.
the people that are shooting, most of the time, this is the first time I went into Grondin's Pit, which they were shooting right at the middle road, and the guy proceeded to tell me that was no longer a road. And I go, you got side-by-side, four-wheelers, everything driving by, you're shooting right towards the road, right where I came in. And I said, if you would have been continuing to shoot, I probably would have been shot at. But if someone's gonna take care of it, because we have a quality of life that we want, and it's so much better now, and I'd hate to see, if I didn't go down, every time I don't go down, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. That's the way it is. If no one's telling them they can't shoot down there, they don't spread the word, and none of them know about it. And I even tell them, don't believe me, look on the phone. I've looked it up just this past weekend. There's 3 articles. Paul and Press Herald wrote an article about it. there's no shooting in Standish as excessive shooting, so.
I'll
would-
follow up with the sheriff's office. They do have the equipment to monitor, and there should be enforcing, so
Well,
I'll
I'm
make a
telling
point
you,
to
when I
follow
talk
up.
to my neighbors, they all say they have called,
Okay.
and I don't call the calls.
They're not gonna report back to whoever's calling,
I
though,
know, but they
will
say
follow up.
they say they will not
Okay.
deal with it.
I'll follow up.
Okay, I appreciate it, but I'm just saying, I think a sign at the end of the roads, or whatever, what you guys have on your pit, on the boundary road, not allowing them to shoot there, it should be the same way for other pits, or other areas that they're shooting. Thank you.
Mr. Farley.
I can't leave without saying something. Elmer Farley, resident of Standish. I was just wondering now, we have like 500 new homes they're putting in for developments. And how would you go about slowing this down? Like a moratorium, not necessarily a moratorium, but we're getting so many new houses, and our school system right now is filled. And like last night, the lady says, and the gentleman there, they said, oh, we need more kids. Well, I don't need any more, but maybe they do.
I got a couple
How
you
would
can
you
have.
slow that system down, or, I'm asking you,
Yeah.
like a
So
moratorium?
we're actually working on several ordinances right now, so user fees. So when someone comes in and wants to build in our town, it's before one of the attorneys right now, they'd have to pay a fee. They'd have to pay, like the town of Gorham, for example, has a $10,000 fee. We're not looking at that, but they'd pay a fee for roads. So that fee would go towards Public Works to help with buying more plow trucks. We're having, Zach, a Parks and Rec fee, so it would go towards our future for preserving land. What else?
Public safety as well.
Public safety, yeah, so to help for that. So we already, we've started it, the attorneys are looking it over, we're working with a company to write it and get it back. So we hope going forward, and we are pretty sure that these ordinances that we're writing will go in effect to those new houses coming. So we're aware of it and we're trying to.
Yeah, because like, there's 5 brothers. They're putting, here just a while ago, they said 130. Now they're up to 150. And their land borders Randall's.
Yep.
And I guess they're talking about developing that.
They just they set an order forth that there's land, they preserved 500 acres of land, so Randall's not having any land, any houses built there.
They have 500 acres, but they also they bought like 50 acres, I think.
Okay.
That isn't in that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Randall's land that's up at Standish Town Counter definitely isn't in any conservative, that's what.
Yeah, that isn't in that land thing. I think they're thinking of developing it because 5 Brothers Road goes right to it.
Gotcha. We're trying.
So,
There's also the growth ordinance that
yeah.
only allows certain number of houses every year.
We do?
Excuse me, yeah. Okay, thank you.
So you're trying to make ordinances that will put these people over.
You have to, if you, yeah.
If the finance and stuff isn't addressed over there. So I'm thinking, when I went home last night, why don't we just have a moratorium? Wells has one right now. They just, about a month and a half ago, till the middle of October. And that might give you more time to come up with these ideas. Because I was also looking today on the internet, and it said that since the 220 census, the town has grown 85%. That's huge in 4 years, I think.
That's not right.
So I think there's
That's
a
not
lot of things here going on that need to be looked at before any decisions are made about building.
I can certainly bring your concerns to the ordinance committee.
Yeah, I will go back there. Because they said you're the people they did tell me that would have a moratorium, I'd have to come to you.
And the ordinance committee is a public meeting, so if you'd like to come and share your concerns, you can do that also.
Okay, and when would that be?
It's posted online.
Oh, okay.
And you can sign up for news and announcements. That'll send you a link or something to tell you when everything is.
Oh, okay, thanks.
just a correction, the town hasn't grown by 85% in 2 years. I just want to make sure that people.
Okay, I
You
read
said
it
that
wrong?
it's probably 3% or 1%. I mean, we're not growing 85%.
Between, not the year, the census.
Yeah, even
That's
that.
the census,
In
not
2 years,
every year.
we haven't grown 9,000 new people in 2 years. Because we're at just over 10, we're under 98 a couple of years ago.
Oh, I don't know
We
how
might have
many.
gone 1 or 2%, but definitely we haven't gone 85%. Yeah.
Well, no, the percentage of people
yeah.
since the last
As
4
long
years
as-
is 85% that it's grown, not the amount of people. It's not 8,500 people.
But
It's
85% of
80% of the-
10,000 would be 8,500
In
people.
2020,
Yeah.
it's grown 85%. In the previous 4 years, and at the time of the census, was only 20-something%. So that's a huge gap, I thought. So it's food for thought anyhow.
Quick thing.
On Randall's Orchard, 400 of the land is in a land trust. 40 acres is up by Standish Corner that is out of the land trust. And the property that he just bought, he bought it to stop people from building. They were gonna, a developer, I believe, from Wyndham, was gonna build all kinds of houses down there, and he bought it so they couldn't do that, and he is gonna plan on farming that into more stuff. So I know they have concerns about how much of Randall's, but I know maybe the 40 acres might be tied into Five Brothers, but right now, I think T is gonna keep everything else for the farm. So just to make sure everybody knows.
He made that clear, didn't he, when he
Yeah.
was here
Yeah.
before, the last meeting?
Great.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay.
I have just one thing. I'm beginning to get a lot of calls with people concerned about their taxes. They're going online and seeing them jump from 23 to 24. Mine went up $68,000 in value in 1 year, just my property. So I just want to, we need to get out ahead of it, some of us councilors, because I don't have answers when people call me, and I've had probably 6 or 8 calls in the last week. For some reason, it's going out there on Facebook and stuff, and people are getting concerns about seeing the numbers go up. So just want to, think the councils need to get together with town staff, and so we have the answers, so we're not out there knee-jerking answers, you know.
I had met with the assessor and sent out an email. I know your email has not been working super well, but I sent a link, and so we can share that with residents too. And I spoke to Barbara today. We're going to put a link for the website to make it easier to understand the hows and whys. We had a resident who came in and thought it was a big jump, and then after they had a conversation, it was a $200 increase. So I think there's some misinformation going around. So I know that we're happy to be and answer any questions beyond the paragraph we'll put to help explain it.
Anything else? Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Yes.
All in favor? Adjourned.
Can we debate for a while?